Nigga, I'm from Pacoima. Nigga, I'm from Pacoima. Nigga, I'm from Pacoima. Nigga, I'm from Pacoima. Oh, a lot of niggas gon' get it. I taught them how to crease up khakis and rock fitteds.
Is there a disconnect? And what seems to be the disconnect, and why can't we reconnect? Or what's preventing us from reconnecting that we could get out the way?
And okay. Yeah. One, there is a disconnect. And but this can be a whole lot of stuff because you got to get when did we disconnect, where did we disconnect, and what caused us to disconnect. That's a whole different, everything has its place. Now, when did we disconnect? When
Yes.
this started in the 70s, during,
Mm,
when the welfare came in. Remember, the man wasn't allowed to be in the home. This is before crack. This is before all of that. One, you had two things happening. You had a lot of people coming back from Vietnam, the Vietnam War, because remember, the Vietnam War wasn't officially over till like 74, 76. And a lot of us are those 70s babies. And the Vietnam War started in the mid 60s, early 60s. So we're talking about those 60s babies, those of us that had parents that was in Vietnam. Now, when all of those men came back from Vietnam, we didn't see Vietnam movies. We know what they went through, and what they came back with. Post-traumatic stress, heroin addictions, and all type of crazy, chaotic shit that started happening, when they came back home. And right
yeah.
as that's happening, then the state comes in or the government comes in and says, yeah, we're going to look out for all of these single black women and we're going to give you welfare. And
Mm,
but in order for you to get this welfare, you got to make sure that there's no man in the home. You see, you can't get
mm,
these benefits if there's a man in the home. So now you have a lot of women who were becoming dependent upon the government assistance. And now the men had to come sneaking in and out of their own homes, sneaking in and out of their own family situations, paradigms, simply because the government was watching over and they would be penalized or put in jail or some crazy stuff just for the man being in a home. So now you have this psychological fear that women have to keep the man out the home. There's that part. And
mm.
then there's the part of I really don't need the man because I get the welfare. Then like I said, it's multi-dimensional. Then they started giving a lot of the women all of the what they call when you got because you got welfare and then you had the where blacks get the you get ahead because you were minority. What was that law called? The
Affirmative
affirmative
action.
action. Thank you. Then the affirmative action came in, but the recipients of affirmative action wasn't black men. The recipient of affirmative action was actually white women and black women, white women first, and then black women. So now the
Mm,
women are getting the benefits of affirmative actions, which is a lot of education and a lot of corporate positions. So now they're making more money. So now you got government assistance without the man. Now you're making more money without the man. Now you're being taught because feminism rose in that, which was a whole nother dimension that was actually geared towards white women because it was white women that wanted the rights to be like a man and go out and work because they were the ones that were kept inside the home and didn't have the right to vote. Black women and black men always suffered and struggled together. So we didn't have that problem with suffering and struggling together. That was the white woman's problem. But she introduced feminism to the black. So now you got feminism, you got welfare, government assistance, you got affirmative action, then when while all of this is going on, you got television now comes in because television manipulates and controls the perception of the people. What were the most popular movies in the 70s? Pimp movies. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
The
Yeah.
Superfly,
The
the
Mac.
Mac. Our music was Curtis Mayfield. I'm your mother, I'm your daddy, I'm that nigga in the alley. I'm your doctor when you need. Has some coke, has some weed. Pimps was the things in the 70s, right? So now we start coming of age. We're not those 70s, baby. That's our parents. 80s come around. Now that the 80s come around, we know what happened then when the CIA started running crack and guns through LA. So now you got the blood and Crip thing that came in, which was our generation, 1983. Think
Mm.
about that.
Mm.
This is not these time frames are like 7 years apart. They're not a long history. These are 7 years apart. So now with all of this happening, the 80s come in, the crack epidemic come in, that disrupts the family household even more. So now you got mothers that was the sole providers in the homes are now strung out on this drug. And you got men that was trying to sneak into the house are now sneaking around in bushes and shit, doing weird ass shit that we ain't never seen a man do. You see what I'm saying? And all of this
Mm.
was by design. Then comes the legal part, which is another dimension. Now you start trying juveniles as adults. Now you got the war on crime, the war on gangs, the war on crack, and all of those people that were having drug addicts and all of those people, having drug problems and all of those people that were gang bangers end up in jail. So now they start building more prisons. So it went from 12 prisons to 33 prisons statewide. And they had to fill these places, and now prisons become a commodity. So where does that leave the women? Alone again to raise these, crack babies down. You know what I'm saying? So it's all generational and all by design. So when you ask, are we divided? Hell yeah, we divided. And we got a whole lot of trauma to get through in order to get back they identify and define their whole world existence based on social media. And now you got to contend with that. You got to battle with that because now every time she looks at her
Shit.
phone, she's in Hollywood, and ready and go, cut. You know what I'm saying? And all of this shit. So that gets
Hey,
twisted,
not to mention that, but real quick, I was telling my son, I'm like, man, I don't even know. I would be lost in this day if I was trying to go talk to a lady because just real actual social contact, they look at you strange if you just walk up to a woman and say, hi, you look pretty
Right.
today. They gonna look at you like you trying to attack me or something. You gotta swipe left or right to even talk to a female these days. So I'm just like,
That's
damn,
a hell of a point. It's
like
called
this
social
whole
anxiety
it-
disorder, man.
yeah,
Now you
it's a
got,
whole different
yeah.
thing to even
Now
communicate.
you got
Yeah.
people dealing with social anxiety. And I can't talk about it because that's their social anxiety disorder. Shit. Now you mix that with my social anxiety disorder coming out of prison, being raised, 16 years old. Like I said, I'm getting out of prison. I'm trying to connect with you, and you more connected with your phone than anything in the world. And I'm trying to reconnect to a world that I don't even understand. So now we both have our own social anxieties trying to connect. So my point is,
Mm.
man, it's interdimensional